Welcome. Welcome back to A Mother's Love. I'm Ernestine Battles, and this is Natalie Battles. And today we have a very important topic that we're going to be talking about. I must say, forgive us for being a little late. We had a little technical troubles. Um, Today we're going to talk about the violence that's going on in our city and just about our world because it is everywhere, especially with our black and brown sisters and brothers. My thing is that, you know, we are taking our own self out. We are taking our own self out. Our young people are dying because they're trying to get somebody else and they're getting shot. And to them that's doing the shooting and shooting each other for what? For what? And my thing is if they doing it for territory, are they doing it because this is my building and I run this, or this is my block and I run this, this is my hood, and or they just don't like somebody didn't look at them right, or and it really doesn't make any sense to take out your sisters and brothers because we don't have to be born by the same mother and father. We're born by the same generations and generations of ancestors that came from Africa, and they brought us over here to the United States. I was saying, even if we bought our own house, this don't belong to us. You buy your car, it don't belong to you. So no block belong to you, no building that belong to you, even if it's in your name, because it does not belong to you. You still have to pay taxes on it. That's something that the city said. You got to pay taxes on it. And if you don't pay taxes on it, they can come take your house. If you got a car, you got to pay for stickers. You gotta pay for the Illinois stickers, and you gotta pay for the city stickers. If you don't, you can't drive your car because they're gonna give you tickets, and eventually they're gonna put a boot on your car and tow it in, and you have to pay lots of money in order to get your car back. So if we're fighting for territories and my building, my block, type of things, that we're taking our sisters and brothers and our children lives, it's not worth it. We doing exactly what they want us to do, which is to take our own people out. Why do you think it takes them so long when they say somebody shot somebody or they shoot somebody? Why do you think it takes so long? How many police officers, and not just the police officers, but other people say it's just a black person killing another black person, or Hispanic killing another Hispanic, or things of that sort. They don't rush, and sometimes they see it and still don't rush. So we're taking our own people out. So as I was thinking about this, because it came to me the other day that this is what I want to talk about because of everything that's going on. It's not just in Chicago, y'all. It's everywhere. Everywhere you go, we got more and more black people killing themselves. We got more and more young people dying over nothing. So as I was thinking about this, I said, why are they doing this? It couldn't just be territorial. It couldn't be. It's pride. It's not knowing. You know, our people grow up in the same neighborhood, seeing the same people, which is mostly us. We see our own skin color every day, walking down and up and down the street. It's us. And the only time you probably see a white person, which they are moving in our neighborhood more and more, because we're not taking care of what we got. So we got a lot of abandoned buildings. We got a lot of property that's going down, and they coming in and sweeping it up for a little or nothing. And so we see in what they call some of the worst neighborhoods, we see white people walking around in it because they done bought them a cheap house and fixed it up. And now when they move into it, it costs $1 million almost.
That's called gentrification, folks.
Right. I mean, the taxes goes up, and if we want to buy something, we can't buy it because they done moved in, swept in, and got it. Why? Because we don't take care of our own stuff.
Now, okay, I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm gonna let Natalie in because I know when I let her in, I'm not gonna talk no more.
No, I'm being good. Y'all see me over here being patient.
But
I'm being good.
We trash our own neighborhoods. I see people throwing trash out all the time, and then when we drive in other people's neighborhoods, we're fussing about why their neighborhood look better than ours, why their streets look better than ours. Why I drive over there and I don't see no trash in their neighborhood, but it's a lot of trash in our neighborhood. It goes back to what I told you. They ain't gonna care about your neighborhood if you don't care about your neighborhood. Okay? So we have to care about us. We have to love us. Not just because we your blood, but because we are one. We are a tribe. And in order to make it, we have to unify ourselves to keep everything going the right way. As I told you, you don't own nothing here. Because if you owned your land, they couldn't kick you out. But you can own your land, and the city can come tell you that they want to build a highway or a civic center or something in your area and tell you gotta move. And then they gonna pay you what they want to pay you. And a lot of times it ain't worth what you got. So we have to get together and work together to make this thing happen and stop killing each other and our babies. We have to stop doing that. Now, I want y'all to put in some comments and suggestions or whatever you think about the situation. But this is what I feel. You can't watch the news because they telling you how many kids they got. They been shooting on the Lakeshore Drive. They shooting on the Dan Ryan. They shooting on the Bishop Ford.
So I'm double dutching. That's what I'm doing right now. That's my double dutch. Can I hop in? Because I've been patient. I've been waiting nice and calm. I ain't interjected. I ain't said nothing. Y'all know I be talking. I ain't said nothing.
I am gonna let Natalie get in here. And if I get a chance, I'll jump back in.
Appreciate it. Hop right on back in there. But I gotta double dutch jump on in there. Because I love what you're saying. And Chanel, thank you, everyone who's watching. Thank you for being here with us. Absolutely speak. Absolutely preach. That's what she said in the comments. But one thing I don't want us to lose sight of, though I am not the type of person that say we are not supposed to take accountability for our own actions and hold each other accountable.
Oh no.
That is not me. Best believe we need to hold each other accountable because that's the only way we're going to better ourselves. But I do not want to miss the fact that we were programmed this way.
That's right.
Not saying that we can't come out the program, not saying that we can't fight against the systems that have been set up to put us exactly where we are today, but we cannot negate the fact that it's a thing. That centuries and centuries of training and brainwashing and trauma has led us to where modern 2021 melanated people in America are today. Now, that's not saying that that's everybody's mentality or mindset,
no,
but it is a large majority, unfortunately, and that's my opinion. So this is the thing I wanted to bring up. Again, everything my mother said, accurate. It's up to us to get out up in these streets and do the work. And yes, I said out up in these streets. I know what I said. It's up to us to get out here and do the work. And so for me being a person that call myself knowing better, because they say if you know better, you're supposed to do better, right? Mm-hmm. So me being one of the people that, call myself knowing a little bit better, right? I make sure that every talent, God gift that I have is used to the betterment of my people as a whole. Not just me, not just my son, not just my family, but the betterment of my people as a whole. So some of the things that we can do, the people that quote unquote know better, or the people that just want to help fix where we are now or better it for our future generation, we can take what we know and share that with others. We can take our power back and actually get in these streets and do the work that needs to be done. And that's where the change happens. It's one thing to know it, but if you're not doing anything, then you really can't talk about it neither.
Well, tell me about the things that you're talking about getting in these streets. Getting in these streets to do what?
I got you, girl. I'm glad you asked. First, before I go about getting in these streets, let's do a history lesson. Y'all know me, Miss Natalie B. I love me some history, okay? And we also have to ask the question, one of my signature questions. But why? Sound like, but why? So we have to understand why and how we got to the situation that we are in today, okay? So let's talk about slavery. And I know a lot of people don't want to talk about slavery. We act like it's been so long ago, but in reality, it has not been that long ago. We're talking about maybe, depending on how old you are in your generation, your great-great-great-grandmother. That's not that long ago in the grand scheme of things, people. So what we first have to do is know that, again, the trauma, if y'all have never heard of the Willie Lynch letter, you'll hear me talk about it often. Please go Google it, read it. It's available for you. These are the tools that they used to create slaves mentally for generations. And that's exactly where we are today. Mentally enslaved. Where it comes to colorism, ageism, sexism, all of it was placed within this book to control. So we have to understand that those things are at play. That's trauma, right? That's brainwashing. Absolutely. But then you have the systematic things that have been set in place to oppress Black people and further inflict trauma into because it's embedded in our DNA, melanated people for centuries, for decades at this point. So a lot of people are doing what they know. And it's not saying that they're bad people. They're just living in their circumstances. A lot of them trying to do the best they can. What's that?
I agree with that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we become a product of what we see and what we are. Mm-hmm. If you see a certain thing every day, all the time, in your neighborhoods or wherever you at, and you see this happening and you become a part of what's going on in your neighborhoods, what's going on in your area, in your circle.
And bringing it around to a mother's love in your household. I'm gonna always bring this point up because babies, children become teenagers and then they become adults. So what you put into a child when they're born and through their adolescence literally morphs into a whole grown person with voting rights, gun rights, and all types of rights and responsibilities that they'll either know how to take care of or not. Things that they know how to do or they don't. Information that they know or they do not. And that's based on what's put in them as a young person. Traits, traumas, and characteristics that's been put into them as a baby, as a toddler, as an adolescent, all the way up until they turn into an adult. And so this is a thing as far as a mother and father and grandmothers and aunts and uncles. And when my mother say people kind of become a product of their environment. And we know, again, that that's not absolute. We know people that have come from the slums and pulled themselves up and knew from the start they were going to be different than their environment, or who found out along the way.
And some that are in good environments, have good parents, have good people in their environment that mixes up with somebody else and change and do different things.
Yeah, it can happen either way.
We don't know how we may turn out sometimes, whether it's good, you got a good family, or whether you don't. You got a family that's been living the same life for generations. Whatever it is, the only one that can change these things are us. Now, do we want to do this in love? Are we teaching them to do stuff in love? Are we teaching them that when they take somebody's life or when they hurt somebody, whether it is physical or mentally, do we teach them that it's a way to come up out of that situation? Can we teach them that, or give them the love and understanding that they need to know that they could come out of that hole that they may be in, and that it's a big bright world out here, and let them learn that it is not always that way. What are we doing?
So that leads me to your question, which is about getting in them streets, the things that we can do as everyday people. And I want to speak to a comment that Chanel put into the comment section. She said the media spins what's going on, and we have to think about systematic slavery. Absolutely. So that's some of the things that I was talking about earlier. It's still in us. The things that they did back then, they're still doing today, just in a more elevated. I mean, it just keeps going up. The elevation of what they do and what they add into and how they filtrate it into the system. And systematic racism is a thing. If you don't believe it is a thing, baby, we're going to have to meet up and I have to show you some research. But the whole thing about systematic racism is that it's systematic. It's embedded within the system that we live in, so much so that you don't even realize it's racism. You get used to the treatment. You get used to being treated and seen as less than. You get used to having less. You get used to the system playing against you. So that's why it's called systematic racism. And for modern day melanated people in America, the whole point is with systematic racism is that you have this divide where you have some black people that are agreeing that racism doesn't exist because they don't even see the flaws anymore. They don't even see how things are against them anymore. So it's systematic racism because it's embedded within the systems and the organizations and all of the things that are structured that's supposed to be for the greater good of the people, and it's not for our greater good. But going back to the initial question, getting in these streets, what can everyday people do? One, as parents, as uncles, as aunties, as fathers, as grandmas, as granddaddies, and anybody else, we have to pour into these babies. My mother just made a really amazing point. And this goes back into me saying everything that I do is for the greater good of my community and the betterment of my community. What my mother just explained was emotional literacy, social emotional learning. And I have created, me and my fellow partners have created a platform, soon to be school, where we are teaching a focus of social emotional learning and literacy and history and coordinating that with the arts. But the point is, she explained leading with love. She explained how to interact in certain situations. She explained knowing that there's more in life. And that is what we have to do with these young people. We have to teach them how to deal with their emotions. I guarantee you, if you think about your life right now and all the people that you have come across that's in it, you can identify moments where you or someone around you were not literate emotionally. People that lash out at people. Mom's talking about the senseless violence out here. Why are people getting killed for gym shoes? Why are people getting killed because someone looked at them wrong? Why are people fighting? Because all of these different things is a lack of social emotional learning. We have all of these pent up emotions, and don't get me wrong, we should have a lot of emotions, but we have to learn how to not only control them, but understand them, know how we feel, articulate how we feel, and then put those feelings into something productive. To be 100% honest, a lot of this foolishness makes me mad. Am I out swinging on folks? No. I am fueling, taking all of that energy from that anger and irritation that I feel and putting it into the work to solve the problems that I see that anger or frustrate me. We have to teach those skills. They don't just magically come when you come through the birth canal or however else you get here. We have to teach these things. And social emotional learning will save lives. The Healing Academy is teaching that. We actually have a fall class coming up teaching the babies, pre-K, 3 to 5 years of age, social emotional learning and how they can identify their emotions, how they can identify other people's emotions through body language and body movement. How do we react in certain situations when people feel certain ways? Teaching empathy, teaching observation, all of these different things, but also teaching them again, to identify how they feel, express it, how to articulate that, and then also to find a solution, a better way than just swinging off somebody when you're angry. And for those of you who are not aware of the slang, swinging off somebody is punching them, okay, in the face or wherever you are punching. There's better ways, and we have to teach these life skills. These are life skills because, again, you have babies and toddlers that turn into full-grown adults with the same characteristics and traits that they had when they were babies. If you have a baby that's swinging on people, or who, you even have to look at children that have temper tantrums and different things like that. We have to teach them how to identify how they feel and articulate how they feel and fuel that into something else. If not, you're going to have adults having temper tantrums in different ways. So we have to teach emotional literacy because as human beings, we have a whole lot of emotions. And we don't know what to do with them until we're taught. And every problem that has ever happened in the world is because someone got in their feelings and didn't know how to get out.
So tell me, Natalie, give me some examples of the things that you're doing. I know that you all have Clean the Streets project. I know Melanated America is changing the world by making films and documentaries about our people per se. And I know that you give out information on shows and different things that you do. So tell us some of the things that you're doing to help the people.
Okay. So the Healing Academy is one of them because I truly feel like education can solve a lot of the violence problem that we're having, a lot of the community issues that we're having, a lot of the communication issues that we're having. Darn near every problem in the world can be solved with truly being educated. And I'm not talking about just knowing how to read. I'm not talking about counting. I'm not talking about that type of base level education that the public school system tries to sell you and barely give you that. I'm talking about that emotional literacy piece. I'm talking about civics. I'm talking about all of these things that we can ingrain and teach our young people at an early age that they can carry with them for the rest of their lives, like how to communicate, how to identify how they feel, and not let that feeling lead them to do something negative. I'm talking about financial investments. I'm talking, and when I say civic, I mean civic engagement, letting them know that their community is theirs. One of the things my mother mentioned is talking trash. There is a initiative and a movement that I am a part of creating called Talking Trash with Miss June Norfolk and Rodney Gibson and everyone else who's coming on board, where we go into the communities and we clean up different areas around the city of Chicago. Outside of cleaning up the areas, we are actually having conversations and facilitating conversations and opening spaces where conversations can be had, where we talk about the root of the litter. And not only the root of the litter, like why we litter, but also talking about what that does to our community as far as leaving space open for unsafety, as far as violence. If you clean up your street, that means someone cares about your street. That means people are less likely to do illegal activity on your street. If you have a street that's overrun with trash and it looks unkept, it looks like no one cares, you're opening yourself up to people possibly doing illegal activity on your street. And these are certain things that are known, it's proven. And so we have these type of conversations. My mother mentioned property value earlier. We have those conversations as well. On why keeping our community clean and why you should stop throwing your trash on the ground is important. And so it's beautification, abatement is the first one. Beautification and then education are the three pillars of Talking Trash, where we actually go into the communities and we clean up. And we hold a large cleanup event every month, and we do smaller ones all throughout the month. And we have these conversations, and our mini talks will be coming really soon, where we're interviewing other people with other organizations that are out here in these streets, cleaning up the community, talking to people, mentoring about literacy and how important that is. So when we talk about raising our children, that's a part of raising your children. It's not just teaching them how to read, write, tie their shoes, possibly ride a bike, but letting them know that this is your community and what you do matters. Cleaning up your community matters. Not littering matters. Keeping your community safe matters. There's too many people growing up and leaving the hood, but nobody's taking care of it. Nobody's coming back and using the resources that they've learned or gained elsewhere to uplift, clean, and better their communities. And that's what we need to be doing. But again, that is taught. That responsibility, that civic engagement is taught. Another thing is reclaiming your power. And so through Melanated America, through the Healing Academy, and through Talking Trash, it's about reclaiming your power as an individual. A lot of people think that their problems are too great. I'm just one person. But Dr. Margaret Burroughs, I say, I am but one, but I am one. What I can do, I will do. The whole point is, I'm one. But if I'm one and you're one, now we got two. And then more will come, but we have to do our part. So all of those things being said, I do a lot. Through Melanated in America, we highlight these platforms, these organizations, these people doing the work. We are creating spaces virtually and hopefully, when COVID goes away, physical events where we're educating people on how they can take back their power, whether that be the power to vote, whether that be the power of their voice, whether that be the power of calling your alderman and letting them know what's going on in your community, because we pay them tax dollars and it's their responsibility to fix it. If it's the power of like talking trash, of saying, you know what, I'm tired of looking at this trash on my block, I'm going to get out and clean it up, because the whole point is it's your community and it's your responsibility. We are one people, and we have to understand that we hold the power. Whether you're starting alone, I guarantee you won't end it alone, because we're greater together. And if you feel one way, other people are going to feel the exact same way. That's how every movement that I've created or thing that I'm a part of has grown, because I saw a need. I figured other people had it too. They caught the wind and they joined me, and now we're greater together. So it's taking your power and knowing that you can do whatever you put your mind to, and using that for the greater good of your community. So again, the Healing Academy, talking trash, cleaning up the community, Melanated America, lending a voice to the community, sharing our history, our culture, our voices, and our true stories. That's what Melanated America is all about. So again, pretty much everything that I do comes back to these things, because if we know our true history and our greatness of who we are, and stop buying the narrative of who they're telling us we are, we wouldn't dare behave the way that we're behaving, right? Healing Academy is also, spoiler, about healing. If we truly heal and identify the roots of these traumas that we have and work through them, we wouldn't act the way that we do. We wouldn't dare. And again, some of the trauma got passed down in the DNA. So your trauma isn't your fault, but healing it is your job. And so that's the thing. So if we truly understand that healing is for everyone, it's not just for white folks. Mm-hmm. If we truly understand that seeking a therapist, if you need one, please, if you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. Mm-hmm. And really getting into the root, identifying your trauma, and then doing the work to heal, so that we can pass that on to the next generation. And when we heal, we are healing our ancestors that are no longer here with us, that didn't do it in their timeline or couldn't do it in their timeline. We are healing our ancestors when we heal. We are healing our future generations when we heal. And so when we talk about the violence in our community, we talk about the lack of education, whether that be financial education, just straight up literacy, or any other education. We have to do the work now, again, to honor and heal our ancestors, but also to make sure that our babies in the future generation are in a better place than we are today. And we, even with everything, we are still in a better place now than our ancestors were then. But we have to make sure it's not just financially, it's not just leisure time, it's who we are as a people. And that goes, again, back into knowing our history and knowing who we are, the greatness of who we are and who we come from and whose we are. Because that's the root of it. And then you build on, from the history, the skills necessary to navigate through this life with emotional learning and literacy. Sorry, y'all. So those are the things that we really need to dive into when we're talking about truly ending the cycle of violence. It's not just about put the guns down. It's okay, let's look at our communities. What do we really need? We need to truly be educated. We need to truly heal. We need to understand and teach our young people what's really going on.
So, we know about the education and the cleanup and those sorts of things in our history. And now we're older. We're older people, and we're still trying to fix the trauma. And you guys will also work with that on Oh We Gonna Talk.
Absolutely. So another thing that I do is We Gonna Talk. So mama plugging me. I appreciate you, Mom. Bow bow. So another show that I host actually on Wednesdays, right after this one at 8, from 8 to 10, is We Gonna Talk, where we talk about breaking generational curses. So we talk about everything, and how we have to talk about it to heal from it, so that we don't pass it on to future generations, really breaking these generational curses. And so at 8 o'clock today, we'll be talking about men, black men. What do they need from black women? Last week we talked about black women, the myth about black women being single and how that means something's wrong with you, and the history behind where that comes from, the ideals of it, and then why are black women single, and if you are single, what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you need? So today it's the men's turn. We're gonna hear the black men out and give their opinion, so that we can make sure that we come eye to eye again, having that conversation throughout generations, so that we can make sure that we make it a better future and we can heal from the traumas we need to heal from. Because in relationships, even in present day, there's still a lot of trauma from our ancestors, from what marriage was, or some people feel still is, and from what a lot of people allowed and accepted in marriages. And so it all trickles down, and we have to talk about these things. So through We Gonna Talk, the conversation and the dialogue is all about breaking generational traumas and curses that have been passed down, and then breaking them so that we don't continue to pass them down.
Okay, last month for Mother's Day, we hosted a mother and daughters conversation.
One second, real quick. Chanel said y'all might as well plug words from a black woman's experience. Don't matter if we do. Because the point is to make sure that you guys have resources if you're looking for more information on how to heal, how to do your part on stopping the violence and bettering our world and our people as a whole. You got to know all the places to go. So absolutely, Chanel, words from a black woman's experience is every Monday with Chanel Lane. Y'all see her down below. Check out her page. If you have not already, where she interviews different women and we talk about women and the amazing struggles that they go through, the amazing things that they overcome, the things that they're doing within their community and in the world. It's an amazing show. So y'all check out Chanel Lane. That's another space and platform for healing and to really have communication be a vessel for healing. So check that out. She drops the link down there, Chanel Lane LLC. Check that out. But another thing that Chanel said that I don't want to brush past before we talk about the event is how do we reach and educate our adults, because they do not stop being our children, village children. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know I said we have to focus on the young people. We absolutely do have to focus on the young people. But for instance, with the Healing Academy, the soon-to-be school, and you guys can check out the Healing Academy. Our page is on Facebook. It's wehealheal.org for our website. Again, the school will be opening soon. Classes will begin this fall. It's amazing. Check it out. We have 7 pillars, all geared towards eradicating violence, self-hate, and a whole lot of other things that's in our community. But we are not just for the youth. If you all know the history of the Healing Academy, we're just about to start our youth classes, but originally we were doing adult classes, and we will still do adult classes. The goal is to have the school and the community center where the adults can still come, take classes, learn about healing, financial. Again, a lot of the things that we're going to be teaching the young people for their level, the parents and community at large will have the opportunity to come learn that same information as well. And the parents of the students will actually mandatory have to take a few classes, because we don't want to educate the babies and then they still have to go home to an environment that don't understand the things that they're learning. And so that can be very confusing when we're teaching the young people about eating right, but we're not teaching the parents. If we're teaching the young people about communicating, using your words, and emotional literacy, and mamas and daddies still cussing people out. Now, we can't guarantee that that's not going to be a thing in their household, but what we can do is offer the tools so that the young people are learning these things so that they can grow with it. But we're also giving the adults an opportunity to shift their mindset as well. We cannot write our adults out, no matter how old they are, not even our elders. We cannot write them off. As long as you're alive, you have the ability to learn new information. And that should be your goal. You're not living unless you're learning something new. I'm not saying you got to go back to university, but every day through life, you should be learning something new. And so we definitely pour into our adults as well, but we also have to understand with adults, you can give it to them, but that doesn't mean they're going to take it. And that's okay. our jobs, again, once you know better, you're supposed to do better, and reclaiming our power and all of the things I've said already, is that our jobs is to simply provide these things, these resources, these places, this education, this information, and let whomever wants to take it. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's basically that same thing, but we want to keep dropping puddles. We want to keep leaving buckets of water. We want to build rivers, lakes, and streams of information so that even if it's not today they're ready to drink, eventually they're going to come back to that river and they're going to be thirsty. Yeah. So that part.
And then when you healing, it's different ways you can heal. You can heal through art. Mm-hmm. You can heal through writing. Mm-hmm. You can even heal by just recording yourself and talking out things that you done went through, things that you want to change, keeping a journal. It's different ways that you can heal. So I suggest that you look into some ways that you may like. See, some people like writing. They like writing journals or plays. Some of them turn into plays. Some people like rapping. They rap their story.
Absolutely.
So you find what's good for you. You find what's good for you. When I started A Mother's Love, I never thought that I would start something like this, but I believe that God put the inspiration in my heart to start A Mother's Love. So I talked to Natalie about it, and she jumped on it right away because she knew that I was going to change my mind and I wasn't going to be doing it. So she was like, come on, let's get on it. Let's make this plan. Let's do it like this. How you want to do it like that, And so this is also a therapy for me because I wanted to help other mothers because I seen the journeys that they were going through and the things that they was suffering through as young mothers. So I want to be able to talk to them to let them know that they was not the only ones that had been through these things and that we learn by helping each other out. We have to help each other out. I can't be act like I was a perfect mother and I see young people struggling and you know that you struggle too and don't tell them. How do that look? Mm-hmm. I cannot help a young person out as they go through their journeys. I couldn't do that. So I'm open to help out anybody. When my kids came up, I had a house full of kids.
Yep.
I had my nieces, I had my nephews, I had the ones down the street, the ones across the street, the ones from Whitney Young, the one from Simeon, the one from South Shore, the one from what's that school we went to?
Hirsch.
Mm-hmm. I had all these children that were friends of my children that knew that they were always welcome to come over. If it was to eat, play games, we played cards, they played different games and stuff, watch TV together, whatever it may have been, they knew that my house was a safe place. Okay, it was a safe place. So we have to help each other. We got to help these young mothers. Us as being older mothers, we can't just let them be out there driving themselves crazy because they don't understand some of the things that they're going through with their children. So help each other. That's what we've been talking about from the beginning of this show, that it takes a village. And that's not just talking, it takes a village. It takes each and every one of us to help somebody. You can help somebody by saying a word. I know I was somewhere and the baby was hollering and stuff, and people talk about that. Ooh, they need to shut that baby up. Ooh, they
if they could ever shut a baby up. You can't never shut a baby up.
We had hollering babies. You know what I told them? One girl said, "Oh, I'm sorry, about the baby crying or something like that." I said, or the baby touching me or something. I said, "Baby, I had 4 of them and a host of other ones." I said, "A baby doing something don't affect me at all. It does not affect me. And when you got children, you learn that they're going to do some things and say some things. Don't be embarrassed about them crying. Don't be embarrassed if they're seeking or looking at something or touching something. Just talk to them and tell them what's going on." Mm-hmm. And if anybody around you, whether it's family or not, is getting on your nerve talking about they hollering or they doing this and that. Now, when they being bad, it's a whole totally different thing. They jumping on your couch, they touching your stuff, they breaking your stuff. No, we teach them that's a no-no. Mm-hmm. That's a no-no. You don't jump on people's couch. You don't touch their stuff like that. But if they're being normal children,
curious,
let them be normal children. I know I go back to my story all the time about hollering. I hollered at man for being the children that they are. And I had to realize that they acting like kids. They cannot act like adults. That's why when we grow older,
they physically can't. Like the way their minds work and the energy that they're producing in their little bodies, they physically can't. If we just be like, just sit still, they physically can't. Like they got energy and they're supposed to have energy and they can't rationalize a lot of times the things that we're telling them to do. Don't get me wrong, you can still train and teach and educate your children, but if they don't get it right away, understand that their brains aren't there yet. Our brains aren't fully developed until we like 25 plus for real. So why we gotta stop expecting these kids to be able to just sit down, shut up, and be quiet and do all this other stuff because their bodies don't work that way. I'm sorry, I didn't say that.
We got to let them be children. But we have to be firm and teach them. Mm-hmm. We just can't let them be children by themselves. Yeah. We just can't let them raise themselves. We cannot let them watch TV and think TV raising them. Mm-hmm. Because that's when we make our mistakes. Yeah. You got to know what they doing, who they doing it with, how they doing it. That little commercial is 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids at? I knew where all mine's at because they was going everywhere I went. If I came over your house, they was coming too. So, we got to be able to let them be children, but we have to let them know what's wrong and what's right.
Because that leads them into, again, their adulthood. Those babies become adults. So if we don't teach them humanity, then they won't have it. And that's what it comes down to. Again, talking about the violence, talking about the trash in our communities, how we care about each other or lack of care for each other. We have to teach that humanity. We have to embed that into them early, caring about people and how they feel. We have to show them by caring about those children. Right. A lot of times when babies cry, we over it. I get it. Trust, I get it. When babies get the cry, you just be sitting there like, I don't even care no more, right? But we can't do that because they learn from us. So they're going to have that same energy when somebody around them is hurt or needs help. They're going to be sitting there like they don't care. We have to teach humanity. A lot of times we got to step out of our adult minds because our adult minds will have us.
And we have to go back to where we were.
And we have to go back to where we were. And then we also have to understand how we react to them is how they will react to other people. Yeah. The words we say to them is what they're going to say to themselves and other people. So we have to be careful on how we act and what we say to our children. Because when we look out into the world and we don't see what we like, someone raised that person. Someone showed that person these characteristics or did not show them the appropriate characteristics.
Right. Well, you know, I'm going back to that. Sometimes you can show them everything.
Sometimes you can. It's always
supposed to. And they still don't act the way you think they supposed to act.
Absolutely. But if you did your job, then you know you did your part. So, it's like building that river. Eventually they'll come back and drink.
So, you know, I'm the, don't blame the mama for everything.
I'm not blaming mama.
But blame her for some things. You know, because we got some that does that, but everybody is not the same.
And you were going to say something about the mother-to-daughter plan discussion.
Oh, yeah. See, that's where we went off on something else.
Oh, we going to talk.
Okay. So, I was saying we had a mother-to-daughter panel for Mother's Day, where the mothers get to talk to the daughters, and they can tell what they liked and didn't like, and the daughters can talk to the mother and tell what they like if they had a problem or anything like that, which turned out fantastic. And with the mothers and the daughters, and we had a beautiful conversation with them. We was hosting, me and Natalie was hosting that program. So this time they're doing a father and sons for Father's Day. And so look for that. It's going to be on the Healing Academy page. Also, they're going to let the fathers and sons talk and tell, discuss maybe the problems that they having with each other, the problems they having in the street. It's not always the problem that they having with the family. It could be a situation with their school, with their friends, with their neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. They get an opportunity to talk and say what's on their mind in a safe place. That ain't no what you call it? Ain't no judgment. Ain't no you gonna get in some trouble if you say this, because the parents and the children know that this is a safe place, and if you talk, we're gonna work on fixing it.
And it goes back to breaking those generational curses. And I'm so glad you brought up the men's panel. It's on the 13th, so really soon. All right, on the 13th, I need y'all to be in that space. Sunday, I need you guys to be on the Healing Academy page, ready to listen and share that. Go to the page, share the flyer, share the event page, share the Eventbrite so people can sign up for it. For every man, for every son, for every father, for every uncle needs to have these conversations. Men need a safe space to communicate. Not just to kick it and shoot the breeze and all of that other stuff, but to really talk about the issues that they go through. Our men, our beautiful melanated men are so important, but they are struggling with mental health issues. And they don't say a word. They are struggling with the weight of society on them. They are struggling with the societal traumas of seeing black men killed either by black men or by the police or incarcerated at these high numbers. Our black men need a space to just be, to communicate how they truly feel, to really talk about it, to express their feelings and show their emotions. And so this is one of those spaces where, yes, the father and sons, we're going to talk about that dynamic and that issue. But again, just really talking about what is being a black man. What is that? What does that look like? What are the highs? What are the lows? And preparing our boys to be upstanding, amazing, loving human beings that are black men.
And respect. Mm-hmm. We got men that can teach their sons respect, like respecting their mother, respecting women.
How to treat women.
They can teach them that, or they can teach them how not to respect.
Yeah.
Because the way they're treating their mothers or women in front of them, they learn how to do that in front of others. I mean, they women when they grow up, or their wives, or sisters or brothers.
They learn
they learn. So, but we got some good men that want to teach their son the proper way. So, and we got, like I said, we got them both. Mm-hmm. We got them both. So we have to help them, show them how love can transform.
And that's healing.
Right. So, like I say, my love is rooted in happiness. Mm-hmm. It's rooted. And what I mean by rooted, you know how trees are in the root so tightly that a real bad storm have to pull them out the roots. If we got a breeze, if we got just a regular storm, those trees will swing back and forth, but they never will come out because their roots are deep into the soil. That's how we have to love our people. We got to root it. You got to root it where the roots are deep down in the soil. There's just no storm gonna pull them roots out. It's got to be a whole tornado type thing that's gonna pull your roots out of that. But love is never gonna go away. Mm-hmm. Love will never go away. It's still gonna be there. It's still gonna be in your heart. If we teach each other how to love each other, it will never go away. But you know what it'll do? It's going to grow. It's going to flourish. You see these big old trees with all these pretty leaves on it? They hundreds and hundreds of years old. That's how we want to be. We want to be rooted deeply into our people. We want to be rooted in the love that we give to each other. Not the hate that we give to each other. You know, when you love somebody, it makes you healthy. You be healthier than you was when you hate somebody. Yeah. When you hate or dislike or just mean,
you killing yourself.
It tears on your body, your brain, your heart, your lungs. It just make you function. But be happy. It helps your lungs, your heart, everything to grow, beat. Your blood is beating in because you're happy, you loving. And that's what we need to do. We need to let the love grow from one person to the next person. And everybody that we see, we should be able to give them just a little love. Because you never know what one word, you can just say one word to somebody that will change their life. They could be ready to kill themselves, commit suicide, but you walked up to them and seen them and you don't even know, but you walk up to them and seen them say, oh, do you know how beautiful you are today? Or I appreciate you when you helped me last week.
Small acts of kindness.
Little words make big hearts beat faster with love. And it changed mine.
You made that up.
It changed mine. Listen.
That was good.
It changed mine.
You got on a t-shirt quote. I'm glad we recorded that.
We need to help each other. Until we join together to help each other, we won't make it. But when we join together to help each other, we can walk down the street with our heads held up high and then know that it is nothing that can push us over. Nothing that can pull them roots from that ground that's bedded deep, deep in it. So, those are some of the things that I wanted to talk about. I am so glad that I had the opportunity to talk to you guys today, because the fact that this stuff was wearing on my heart and I had to tell and talk about it. Tell you guys and talk about some of the things that is happening and how we can get through some of these things. That's why I had Natalie to talk about the things that was going on within her, working with the neighborhoods and working with the people online and in her healing academy and in her melanated America. I don't never say that right. So they laugh at me. Melanated in America. So and all the other people that done something. We got a lot of people that's out helping people in various ways. Carlisa Thomas with the lupus and domestic violence. We got Chanel Lane. I mean, she just do everything. She
and she in the comments real quick. Thank you. She shared the links for everybody for her page, for the Healing Academy of Melanated America, the website. But she also said book a writing through it workshop or healing through it summit today. Yeah. Because she teaches healing through journaling, through writing. She does full summits for young women or for any ages, but she also does the writing through it workshops, which are just the workshops which teach you how to write through different types of trauma, being the trauma of being a black woman in America, being black in America, or whatever that trauma may be. She teaches you how you can write through it and use the skill of journaling to help heal. But she also said you should try something new you've never done before. You never know what will help. So when you're learning to heal and you're going through your healing journey, try something different. One thing that I do is I actually do healing through acting, where I teach monologue writing and actual acting training, but we use those skills that you learn as a tool to vent through different situations and traumatic experiences that you have gone through to help you heal. And so that's another thing that I do in the healing realm as well. And she also dropped her website. So again, please check Chanel Lane out. Please check out the Healing Academy and these upcoming events. Specifically, one is the Father's Day event, but we also have the social emotional classes for the young people that I mentioned coming up in the fall. All information is on our social media and our websites. But then I'm also working with the Black United Fund of Illinois. If you guys do not know the amazing history of the Black United Fund of Illinois, check it out. Amazing Black organization using Black dollars, Black financial literacy, to help non-for-profits and to give back to our community, to create these institutions that are doing the work out here in these streets to really make a better present and future for our people. So check out the Black United Fund of Illinois on the 19th, June 19th, which is Juneteenth. Hey, it's gonna be a party, y'all. If y'all don't know what Juneteenth is, I need y'all to Google. I'm gonna tell you, but still Google Juneteenth, okay? It is the day of freedom. It is Independent Day for Black folk, okay? For melanated people in America, because it is the day that the slaves found out that they were free, okay? So Juneteenth, gonna be a party, y'all. So Black United Fund of Illinois will be throwing a Juneteenth event at the headquarters, which is 1809 East 71st Street, Black United Fund of Illinois. Be there. It's gonna be super fun. It's gonna be super black. If y'all don't know that song, look that up too, because it's live. But so many amazing organizations and people doing amazing things. So one thing before we leave that I don't want you guys to forget is that though, yes, there are a lot of killings. There are a lot of violence. We're in Chicago, so here in Chicago, but everywhere, there is a lot of craziness going on. There is a lot of violence going on because our government or the people in charge at large all over the world have not put emphasis on the right things. And that is truly educating, respecting, loving, and providing for their people. People come first. Not things, not places, not any of those things. If we put people first and pour into them the healing techniques, and emotional literacy and love and resources that we need, we wouldn't have to kill, steal, fight to live. We have to understand that. But I want you to know, amongst all the chaos that you may see and sometimes feel bogged down by, know that there's so much good in the world. There's so many people and organizations and places that you do not hear about that are doing amazing work, fighting for a better today and tomorrow. And you can be one of those people. So please find some organizations in your community. The Healing Academy will actually be holding a community fair in August, where we will have different organizations come out and say the things that they're doing, so you can help volunteer. You can help get in these streets and do your part. Whatever you think your part may be, everybody needs help. Every step, every bit, every second counts. Please get out here, align with people and organizations that's doing the work that you feel is important to you in your heart, and plant those roots. Do the work. And know that other people are out here doing the work. And there's so much beauty in the world. There's so much good in the world. There's so much love in the world. Let's focus on that to eradicate the hate and everything else.
Yeah. And stay prayerful. Stay prayerful. Pray for your children before they go out in that street, of protection, and yourself. Because one of the things I was going to say is we were used to be scared of the white man and what they would do to us. All through slavery, all till my mom then was growing up, it was segregation, and they still, and we find out that right now the day is still here. But most of the time, we are scared. Black people are scared to go out their door where their people live and walk the street. So the Bible said where 2 or 3 gather together in his name, he is in the midst. So be prayerful for you and your children as they walk these streets. You don't want nobody messing with them, no matter what color they may be. So I think it's about time for me to go. We didn't recap. I really enjoyed you guys this evening. You really did something to my heart by being able to speak to you guys and y'all there and getting the questions and letting you know. Even if you don't see something that you need, maybe one of your children might. So we got all this good information. Use it. And I love you guys. Again, love is rooted in happiness. And it's rooted. Remember that. And this is a mother's love. And we will see you in 2 weeks.
Don't forget to share. Yeah. And all of the recap videos are on the Mother's Love page and on the YouTube page as well. So share. Spread the love.
And if you got anything to say, no matter when it is, hit them comments in.
Yeah, and feel free to inbox us if you don't want to say it in the comments. If you have any topics, comments, or concerns. If you want to come on the show and be a guest virtually, let us know. Go ahead and send us a message, or again, drop it in the comments and we'll get it.
Yeah.
It's
you
a village.
All take care. Love you.